Hello my tarot friends, Justin Michael, welcome back to my channel, and welcome of course if this is your first time visiting. I appreciate you as always. I want to do a quick review. I got all these decks in front of me. I'm going to do a quick review. I always say that, hopefully quick. So I want to look at the Weiser Tarot today. I wasn't planning on reviewing this deck, but a few people had asked me to do it. The reason I wasn't going to do it is I just have too much planned and I'm having enough trouble making videos as it is. But also there's a bit of controversy surrounding it and I didn't really want to get involved. But since people have asked me to do it, and my opinion is a bit different than some of the voices that I've heard on YouTube, I thought I would just put my 2 cents in. Obviously this is going to be very respectful. All the people that I'm referring to whose videos I've watched are all people I really care about and respect their opinions. So, I just have a different opinion, so I wanted to share my view. So the Weiser Tarot, I've had it for about a week, and it's from Weiser Books. The idea was to diversify the beloved Rider-Waite-Smith deck, which is a deck that's become a bit problematic for some, particularly brown and black folks, because the Rider-Waite-Smith is a bit archaic, by nature it's just that way. It has a lot of old European themes in it, you know what I mean? And so to be able to diversify that deck using that art is not an easy task. So this was really a recipe for disaster if it wasn't done right, you know what I mean? And I'm just gonna give a basic review of it and just share some other thoughts, but I think it's really important that people be able to relate to a tarot deck, and I think it's great to be able to have that in this deck. But having said that, there are some limitations because of the archaic nature of the Rider-Waite-Smith. That's all I want to say about that. The deck comes in this really, first off, it's so well priced. I think I paid $18 for this, and the quality is unbelievable. I don't know how they offer this kind of quality for that price. The 2-part box is very solid. Very nice design on the inside. I like the little ank and all, which kind of refers back to the University Books deck, which I'll probably gonna whip out as well. But the cards are just so nice. They're matte. They're very thick and sturdy. I like the back design and the color palette in and of itself, notwithstanding the changes to the characters, is beautiful, and it's one of the nicest colorings that I've seen. So I have here a yellow box, which is actually my Irish version. It's in the Irish language, or Gaelic, I believe is how you say it. It's spelled G-A-I or G-A-L-I-E-G-E, something like that, Gaelic, but people just call it Irish. It's modern Irish. I really like having this. I bought it around St. Patrick's Day last year. I have a special affinity for Ireland and the Irish people, not just because my ancestors are from there, which they are, but there are just a lot of people I really love and care about that live in Ireland, and I love Irish people. I always have. They're just special to me. So I wanted to have a deck in the Irish language. The other deck I'm going to pull out here is the University Books, or I have the Carroll Publishing version, which is basically the same. This was, I think, 1978 or whatever. But I thought it would be cool to pull this out because involved in the project was people like Rachel Pollack and Mary Kay Greer, and they're really of the generation that really came up using this deck. And so I thought there might be some inspiration from this deck, so I thought it'd be cool just to look at. So we have the yellow deck, the new Weiser Tarot, and the University Books, or Carroll Publishing. So right away, first off, you can see how much thicker the deck is than the other two, especially the Carroll Publishing deck, which is probably one of the thinnest decks of all time, and flimsiest, but beautiful in terms of color. And so, I mean, it's just so much thicker. It's a nice quality deck. And the first thing I see is the color purple in the mountains is absolutely beautiful. I mean, I really, really love it. I know some people may have an issue with the fact that the calligraphy is not being used, the original calligraphy. And they even changed the numbers as well to kind of coincide with the modern font. And they've added Hebrew letters as well as astrological correspondences. I don't know that I like that because I don't really use them in readings, but it doesn't really bother me much. And if it helps somebody learning, then it's probably a good thing. And this is a great student deck. Like I said, a lot of people when they're starting out reading tarot, they're recommended to get the Rider-Waite-Smith. Particularly because 90% of all modern decks are based on the Rider-Waite-Smith system. That's just a guess, but probably 90%-ish. I think it's usually pretty good advice to do that, because if you learn the Rider-Waite-Smith system, then you can pretty much adapt to any other modern deck for the most part. And then of course you have the Tarot de Marseille and Thoth, which is different. But for me, I started out with the Rider-Waite-Smith. I like that I've done that, and I evolved just fine into Tarot de Marseille and so forth. But I think it's a great deck to start with. But like I said, if you're a person of color and you look at this archaic deck with all these white people, you're like, okay, I just don't relate to it. And I think that's really an important thing. And I was talking to my partner yesterday. I was trying to remember exactly when this happened, but I have a memory of my niece, and she was 3 years old, and she's biracial, and we took her to the toy store. She was a baby. She was really young, and we were buying her whatever. She went and she walked right over to the brown doll babies, like she wanted a doll that looked like her. And I just remember thinking, wow, because she already had a sense of who she was at 3 years old. And even though she's around all these white people all the time, it's she wanted a doll baby that looked like her, and it's just in us, and so if a child's like that, adults are like that too, just in different ways. And I think it's important to be able to relate to something, especially a tarot deck, So I'm all for that, and I even feel better about using this deck, and I'm as white as they come, but I am just more my family's very diverse and my friends are diverse, and I really just appreciate having a diversified deck. Some of the criticisms about the deck were that one in particular, which I just totally disagreed with, was that it was just brown faces painted over white features, and that's not true at all. In fact, one of the first things I noticed was that they had made just the right amount of changes, I thought, because first off, you have to put yourself into the artist's shoes, okay, or who the artists, plural. We don't know because they're not named in the booklet, but you don't want to go overboard with the changes. So the changes you're going to have to make are going to have to be subtle, to be tasteful, and to be reasonable. If you go overboard with the features, we could be having an entirely different conversation. And so, clearly you can see that the hair has changed on the magician, and the facial features are different, So that's something I've noticed. And like I said, the number has changed, but the colors just look phenomenal. The purple cloak, I mean, it's just so much fun. It's just a breath of fresh air to read with this new version. I've been reading with it since I got it, actually. And I'm happy with it. I was watching some reviews on YouTube, and particularly I was searching for some brown and black YouTube creators, and I wasn't really able to find many, but I found a handful, and everyone that I watched today were all very positive. And so I think that's important too, and I'd really like to hear from you, particularly if, any of my brown and black viewers. I respectfully ask you if you wouldn't mind to tell me what you think of this, because I think it's an important discussion to be had, and I'd really like to hear about it. And any criticisms that we have of Weiser, obviously the intentions were good. There's an old saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and it's so true. So just because the intentions were good doesn't mean that the final result is going to be good. But I think with this, where you have such an archaic deck, and it's really just a challenge to do, that it's the first attempt that I know of at this, and I think that there should be a learning curve, and we should give constructive criticism for the next time. Maybe there could be a second edition or something like that. But we have to remember these artists are human, and they're just doing their best. And I do know that they have consulted with people like Rachel and Mary K. Greer and so forth to try and put a lot of care in this process. So, but I mean, just looking at the features here on the High Priestess, I mean, I can see it's very subtle, but there were changes made, particularly like in the nose and in the eye structure and so forth, and not so much mouth, but I see it clearly. And now one other thing to keep in mind too is that, like, not every card that is brown has to have those changes, because not everybody that's brown has the same type of features. We also have there are Indian people, there are Southern Italian people and Greeks that have really dark skin with like light features. So I think the idea to do this is to represent what society looks like, and not just get like, oh, we need to represent black people specifically, or people of African descent in the deck, but like the great beautiful variety of people that are walking around are going to be represented in this. But I love the colors. I think it's just, they did a great job. It's I don't know, it's pleasant to look at. And so, I mean, I'm very happy with it. But again, I want to hear from you guys. And, like I said, I wasn't making this video to kind of be spiteful or to smite anyone. Like I said, like, the few friends that I've heard that were criticizing this deck, it was basically on that point that the facial features hadn't changed and they were just quote-unquote blackfaced. I didn't agree with that because it's one of the first things I recognized. Now, for instance, if you look at this character here, he's a darker shade and it doesn't look like it changed much, but like, this may be a person with those features that just has darker skin. It's not like, the fact that they've gone in and it's realistic, it's true to life. It doesn't necessarily mean that every single one has to be changed. I thought it was subtle and just done well. And so I also like the building structures in the back, and just everything looks so nice and sharp and clear. It's really modernized. So an instant favorite from me. I'd love to hear from you guys. The mountains are all purple, which makes me think of the song Purple Mountains. But I love the color purple. I do. And I thought it was done so well. So beautiful Wheel of Fortune too. Yeah. I'm also going to show you some other Rider-Waite Smiths very quickly. Some decks that I got a while back that I wanted to show you for a while. So I'll just this will be like a little Rider-Waite Smith update video. Yeah, I mean, the colors, like, if you look at you have the university books on the right and then the yellow pack on the left, like the features, the faces are not very clear. Where you can see are much clearer in this. And I even like what they did with the sun and everything. It just looks so cool. I always love this temperance of the university books. All of the wings just look so cool in this deck. Where you don't see it, like, really. And there's one other deck, I think it's by Siren Imports, that has done that. But I really wish that people would try and recreate that more. I want to see the next Rider-Waite Smith. I want to see a revamp of the University Books deck. Just throwing it out there. Now that the Rider deck has been made public, or at least the line work has, Pixie's line work, we should be able to see some new versions. Lovely star card. And I find myself really looking at the star cards when I'm reviewing a deck now. It wasn't ever one of my favorite. I mean, I love all the tarot cards, obviously the trumps, but I don't know. Lately, I've been really loving the star. Just love that dark, beautiful moon card. Yeah, so nice. It would be nice to see who the artist is, and you know, to hear from them. Yeah, some of the faces are more obviously changed than others, but like I said, I mean, there are many different types of people. So, to me, I think they hit it out of the park with this, and again, it's an important discussion, so I want to hear from people, and you know, please feel free to comment whatever you like down below, if you agree or disagree. You know, all that I ask is that you maintain, you know, keep it respectful, that's all. And I appreciate you. So, I don't want to go through all of them. Wow, what happened to my... There it is. Okay. I'm just gonna kind of go through them this way just to show you the rest, but I think they did just a beautiful job on this, and love that orange, man. It's so pleasant to look at. So we have the Weiser Tarot, and all the links will be below. Wow, I love that Two of Pentacles, and all the Pentacles with the green. You know, they're all sort of color coded. You know, which is really cool. Elementally, you know, beautiful Queen of Pentacles and the King. So that's the Weiser Tarot. Okay, so next up we have the Reflective Tarot, which is, I'm going to show you actually two other decks. So this one and another deck. So the Reflective Tarot is a little miniature deck, and it's featuring the images of the Radiant Rider Waite, which is not a deck that I own. I never wanted to get that deck because I'm always a bit of a purist when it comes to the Rider Waite Smith. But I liked this version because it's smaller, and the pictures that I saw of it looked absolutely beautiful. So it comes in this really nice box, and this is a US Games deck, by the way. And the box is just super nice. It's a little banged up though, unfortunately. I got to be a little more careful with it, but such a nice two-part box, and the little booklet, which I'm not going to waste any time showing you. The cards are these very thick little deck, which I like. I like that it's thick and small. It feels really nice when you're shuffling. But when I saw these pictures online, I kind of really loved them. Like, they just look so nice, and I don't know if the lighting is going to... Well, I mean, it's doing what it's meant to do, which is reflect. Obviously, it's called the Reflective Tarot. But it's just really beautiful. It has a shiny kind of gold foil finish to it. And I like it. I like it for, you know, on the go. It's just a little deck that, and I happen to grab it a lot. But having said that, the Radiant Rider Waite Smith is not the original line work of the Rider Waite Smith, so it's more of a clone, you know, but it's very close. And I like it. I don't mind it, particularly, you know, it's because it's smaller, it's easier to grab and so forth, and it just looks cool. It's really good quality, very thick. So I figured I would show you this one, and this is still available. You can get it through US Games directly or on Amazon probably, but I thought I would show you this one. Just going to do very quickly. We're not going to look at all of them. I just want to give you an idea of what it looks like. Yeah, and shuffles really, really nice. I mean, so that's the Reflective Tarot. And then the other deck that I got is also a gold foil deck. And it's Debris, which is like fairly inexpensive brand. I think it was Syrian Imports before. I'm pretty sure. You know, and I actually like the Syrian Imports deck, particularly one of them, but there's a few. But I saw this one. It's a special edition. It's a premium edition, and it's all done in gold foil. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to get it. It comes in this nice box, you know, which has like this kind of cool finish to it. It's magnetic, and, you know, gold foil kind of decorative design on the front. Typical, you know, guidebook, although it is in full color. So, and what I really liked about this was the brown borders. In fact, recently I saw one with black borders, and I'm considering getting it, but I have to slow down with the Rider-Waite Smiths because you know, I'm not going to be able to read with all of them, and you know, it's sometimes I just have to say no. But if I really like something, I will get it. And I happen to like the brown borders and the brown backs. The one thing I was like, meh, they came kind of bowing slightly, but I think that has to do with because they're such thick cards, and I think they have just a layer of gold. Like what they do is they probably print these in two parts. They print like the gold foil paper, and then they probably machine press them, something like that, or it happens in some kind of printer. I don't know what they do, but they're already bowing. But very pretty, you know, very pretty cards, shiny and cute, and the brown borders kind of makes it fun and different, but very pixie, you know, very Rider-Waite Smith images, seemingly the original line work, but very crisp and clear too. So I don't know, if you're a riffle shuffler, this probably isn't a great deck to get. I would be afraid to kind of chip away the gold foil by riffling it, but I would gently overhand shuffle this. But yeah, so, you know, that looks cool. So that is the premium edition of the Rider-Waite Smith Debris. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate you listening. Love to hear from you. Please leave your comments below, any questions or whatever. Feel free and reach out. Until next time, everybody, love and peace. Bye-bye.